Hello, anyone who is watching at home, which is pretty much the only people we're speaking to right now because there is nobody here with us in chambers. But this is part one of the process for finalizing gas aggregation here in Georgetown. We're required by PUCO to have meetings like this in order to make sure that people have a chance to get information that they need, ask questions, et cetera, et cetera. And even though there's nobody here with us now, we can still put together a presentation that we're recording, and we will store on the Village YouTube channel so that people can get information as they see fit in the future. With me tonight is Jay Self from Aspen Energy, and he's a star of the show. I'm really just kind of getting him going here, so I'm going to turn the presentation over to him, and if he needs me, I'm right here. So Jay, take it away.
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it. So my name is Jay Sell. I'm with Aspen Energy. We're out of Columbus. We are the consultants for the Village on the natural gas aggregation program. And as Jeremy alluded to, the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio requires 2 public hearings for a aggregation program. So this is part of the process to get certified as an aggregator in the state of Ohio by the Village. And I have a relatively brief presentation to go over. I'm happy to answer questions as they come. If anybody comes in person, I'll answer questions from folks here in-house. If there's questions afterwards, feel free to go on the YouTube, ask questions. You can also send them to Art, Owens, or Jeremy as well. And then they'll get my way and I'll answer all questions. So again, this is for the natural gas aggregation program for the Village of Georgetown. Just a quick background on Aspen. We've been around since 2000. We have over 30,000 clients, about 25 employees. We serve markets of government, educational, industrial, municipal, commercial, manufacturing, public and private sector, agricultural, and transportation. Some of our clients are City of Shaker Heights, Youngstown State University, City of Marysville, West Banco, Werner Enterprises, and a lot of other customers as well. Hey, Steve. Services we provide are electricity and natural gas supply. We have over 20 suppliers that we work with to assure the most competitive program to satisfy client needs. We also participate in demand response programs where we do emergency and economic load response for larger entities. We do municipal aggregation, which is why we're here tonight. Providing lowest cost on the client's behalf, and really running successful programs here in the state of Ohio for municipalities to be able to save folks money, the residents and small businesses. So that's some quick information about Aspen. The things that are important to us are competitive price. That's really the biggest thing, is to make sure that we try and save folks money. On these programs, there's no opt-out fees as well, which is really nice. So if for whatever reason you want to shop on your own or you want to go back to the utility rates, feel free to at any time. There's no opt-out fees. You'll have a 21-day opt-out period to do that at the beginning, and then afterwards, at any time, you can opt out at no cost. So it's really important to understand about the aggregation program, is that you're not stuck in it at all. We are known for friendly, knowledgeable service. So anytime there's any questions at all, anyone within the community can reach out to myself. I'm happy to answer questions, calls, emails, whatever way that you would like to get in touch with us. We are here to be able to assist you every step along the way. Just trying to make it easy to do business together is really important as well, and then trustworthy and fair. That we're going to do the best that we can to build a long-term relationship with the Village, and just make sure that things are run well, and that we do the best we can to make sure that any issues are taken care of as they arise as well. Where have natural gas prices been? So the chart that we're showing here on this slide is the Duke gas cost recovery rates. So as you can see, it's been going up since April 20. April 2020 was kind of the low point, and it's really been going pretty straight up from there. It's come down a little bit here and there, but we peaked at $1.28 in July of this year. So it peaked at $1.28 a CCF. Right now it's at 98 cents from Duke. I think we're going to be able to get significantly lower rates than that as long as the market holds where it is today. We've seen a big decline in rates, so I think it's a good time to start the program and have folks save money right away. I'm pretty positive about an immediate savings for people on the program. This is what the bill looks like. This next slide is just kind of a breakdown, a snapshot of what the typical bill looks like for Duke. So as you can see, the top portion there is the distribution and customer charges by Duke. Those are going to be the same regardless of whether you're with Duke, the utility themselves for the supplier, if you have another supplier through the customer choice program or an aggregation program. So meter number will be the same. Your usage will be whatever you actually use during that billing period, that usage period. The gas charge through the supplier would be below there. So as you see the Duke charges on here, and then those are for transmission and distribution, and then the riders that are passed through the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. So that's stuff that is really a fixed charge. You can't affect that at all. So the thing that you can affect at the bottom there is that gas alternative supplier would be the rate, the name of the supplier that will ultimately win the village's business, and then your charge per CCF, the amount of CCFs at the rate per CCF, and then the dollar amount. So this is what the bill is going to look like. The plan of operation and governance is really what this public hearing is about, is to go over the plan of operation and governance. So I'm really just kind of going to go through each step, as that's really the most important thing about these public hearings, is just going over the plan so you understand what the village is looking to do here. On November 8th, 2022, in the general election, the majority of voters in the village approved the referendum that authorized the village of Georgetown to pursue automatic governmental aggregation. So after the village holds these two public meetings on the matter by Ohio Revised Code, and the village approves this plan of operation and governance, and we submit it to PUCO, the file with all the information on the vote, the ad that we ran, the notice of public hearing, all the different information that we need. Then they would be authorized and certified as a governmental aggregator in the state of Ohio to be able to combine multiple retail natural gas customer loads together, to aggregate those loads together for the purpose of purchasing gas at a competitive rate for the folks here in town. Governmental aggregation services, the village will actually be the aggregator. So they will act as the purchasing agent for the aggregation pool. As the purchasing agent, the village will select a competitive retail natural gas supplier with our assistance as well. In the program, that supplier will supply the aggregation, negotiate terms of supply between the supplier and the aggregation participants, and oversee enrollment procedures administered by the supplier. The supply contract will be negotiated by the aggregator, the village. For the aggregation program, it will be a firm all requirements supply. Each aggregation participant will be individually bound to the supplier by the contract and will be responsible for payment and performance. But again, at any time, anybody can opt out of this program. So you're really not bound to anything beyond getting the rate that the village provides for you, and you can leave the program anytime. The natural gas supply charges for the aggregation will be included in the contract that's negotiated by the village. Charges will take place either as a fixed price or a variable price. So there are a couple different programs that could potentially go into place. typically in today's market, we see a lot more fixed prices than variable rates, being that the market itself has been highly volatile. So if you can take that volatility out by getting a fixed price and have no opt-out fee, that's probably the best solution. But we'll wait and see once the time comes that we get to the point where we can review the options to go over those with the village and ultimately come to the best decision possible for the eligible participants. Gas supply charges will be disclosed in the opt-out notice. So there will be an opt-out notice that will come out, and then folks will have 21 days to opt out if they would like to stay on their own and shop on their own. Otherwise, they would be into the program. The rates and the opt-out notice will also be available on the supplier's website and are available by calling the toll-free number. You can opt out as well. Eligibility opt-out disclosures and pooling accounts. So Duke Energy is the utility here, and we will go through the utility utilizing their billing system. So it'll be one combined bill from Duke. We will get the account list of eligible customers from the utility, including names, account numbers, service and mailing addresses, and see whether or not they have been enrolled already on a program. Anybody that has already picked a supplier that's already in the customer choice program will not automatically be enrolled in this. I think that's really important to understand as well, is this is only going to be for folks that haven't picked a supplier, that are just on the standard service offer through Duke. So if you've already picked a supplier, you will not automatically be in this program. However, you are able to opt into the program at a later time. So if you look at it, you see the village has a better offer than what you have, and you would like to opt into the program, you can. You just need to check with your current supplier for early termination fees. That's really important just to make sure that you don't get hit with large charges for exiting a current contract early. Let's see what other customers here. So the customers that we're not going to touch are the ones that have already picked a supplier, that are already on the choice program. And then these percentage of income payment plan, PIP customers, are what they're referred to. Jeremy, what are they called here behind Duke? The percentage of income payment plan, which would be for low income folks. I think there's a certain name behind.
We used PIP when we were discussing this last
PIP as
meeting.
well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know of any other term? I've not. There's HEAP, but that's a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So PIP customer.
That's how we've referred to it.
Okay,
If there's something else, I've never heard of it.
Okay, no problem. So percentage of income payment plan, those folks get a really good deal already. So they're not going to be included in this program. Folks with past due balances to the utility won't be in the program. So if you have a past due balance and you want to take part in this, try and get that paid prior to when we'd roll this out. We're probably looking at like an April or May start as of right now. So, you know, if you do have a past due amount, if you can try and take care of that prior to, if you want to get enrolled into the program, that would be great. So we would get an eligible customer list from the supplier and the utility. And then with the assistance of the village, we would then review the list to make sure that eligible accounts are within the geographic limits within the village lines. And just make sure that we filter that list to make sure that only customers who haven't picked a supplier, are not on the PIP program, and don't have a past due balance, that only the proper people get enrolled in the program. So
I have something maybe to
Yes.
add to that real quick.
Sure,
I just Googled real quick because I remember seeing something on my Duke gas bill that that customers can donate to. I don't know how this would play into that. Duke actually has something called heat share. It's a one-time, if you get in a situation where you're going to be disconnected,
Yeah.
you can kind of dip into this charitable pool, this heat share,
Okay.
up to $400 one time to avoid disconnection. So
Okay.
I would assume if you weren't in the, if you'd come into the Georgetown program or whatever, that would no longer be available to you. But
That's a good question.
And we
That's
can-
something that we
we
can
can look
check
in-
on
yeah,
to make
yeah.
sure. And I'll follow up on that.
But this is
afterwards.
completely different than a PIP type thing. This is just kind of a one-time thing. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not really aware of that program at all, but that's something that we can look at and check on and get an answer on
Okay.
afterwards. Thank you, Steve. So let's see here. So the supplier with assistance from the village will come up with the opt-out notice. So we'll run it by the village. So you have an opportunity to review, make sure all the information's correct, make sure that we're using the proper village logo as well. That will be right on there. So it'll be dual titled. It'll have a dual title, dual brand. That's the term I'm looking for. So dual branded by the village and by the supplier on there. So let's see here, within 30 days of receipt. So we'll have an up-to-date list from the utility as far as who's eligible and who's not. And then we will inform the eligible account holder that the aggregation is forming. It's an opt-out program, and that they need to opt out if they want to go ahead and stay on their own. Let's see here. As required by Ohio Administrative Code, the opt-out notice will indicate that you have 21 days to opt out. There will be a toll-free number on there. You could also opt out through the website or fill out a postcard to the supplier as well. A simple call is probably the easiest and best way, is just to call the toll-free number for anyone that wants to opt out. You could also opt back in as well. So if at the beginning you opt out and you figure, hey, I want to shop this on my own, and then you investigate it and it turns out that the village's offer was better than what's out there on apples to apples, you can always re-enter the program. Just send a bill to myself if you would like, or call the toll-free number for the supplier and opt back into the program. So the supplier will receive the opt-out requests and adjust the eligible account list. So anybody that wants to opt out will be opted out by the supplier. We will kind of help Aspen in the process as a liaison to make sure that everything's done properly and folks that want out can get out. Upon completion of the 21-day opt-out period, the supplier then notifies the utility of the remaining accounts that will form the aggregation. And through an electronic data interchange transaction, we enroll the aggregation. Upon enrollment, each participant receives an enrollment notice by the utility that indicates that the enrollee may rescind its participation in aggregation by contacting the utility within 7 days. So after the 21 days, you have an additional 7 days to opt out. In addition to the initial 21-day opt-out period, each participant will be provided an opportunity to opt out at least every 2 years without paying an early termination fee. And so, again, that's a formal opt-out that will be sent every couple of years by the supplier. You can also opt out, as we've talked about here, at any time at all. Billing aggregation participants will receive a single monthly bill from the utility. So you're not going to get a separate bill on this. It will include the charges from the supplier for its natural gas supply, as well as the utility distribution charges. Aggregation participants will be billed according to their utility billing cycle. So billing cycle stays the same. That doesn't change at all. The meter reads, the meters themselves, the pipelines, the billing, all that stuff stays the same. So no changes at all to the folks that read the meters, the folks that service the lines, customer service at the utility, that all stays the same. Credit collections and deposits. The utility's credit and collection policy and policies regarding deposits will apply to the aggregation participants and shall be administered by the utility. Neither the governmental aggregator nor the supplier will implement additional policies with respect to credit, deposits, and collections. So that stuff all stays the same as it is today by the utility. Concerns and complaints. We've listed numbers here, which you will see on your bill as well. If you have a gas odor or a leak, fire, explosion, call Duke, their customer service number. Service turn on and off, call Duke. Billing disputes, it would be Duke as well. Price joining, leaving the program, that would be the supplier customer service or Aspen. You can reach out directly to us as well. Program regulatory questions would be the supplier or Aspen. Unresolved disputes would be the Public Utilities Commission. If you have a problem that we're not able to figure out for you and you want to voice that concern, you can contact PUCO. Obviously, the supplier, the village, and us are going to do everything that we can to make any issue, have a resolution to an issue prior to having to involve PUCO. But so we're going to do the best we can not to have any PUCO complaints. Or you could also contact the Ohio Consumers Council for other unresolved disputes. So those are really the two that you would reach out to if we can't help you. But again, we will be here, so I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to take care of any questions or issues that you have as they arise. The supplier will attempt to resolve all customer complaints in a timely and good faith manner. As I just spoke about, the supplier will investigate and provide a status report to the customer when the complaint is made directly to them and or the village within 3 business days following receipt of the complaint. Or in the case of the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio complaint, the supplier will investigate and provide a status report to the customer and PUCO staff within 3 business days following receipt of a complaint. If an investigation into a complaint received from a customer or a complaint referred by the PUCO is not completed within 10 business days, a status report would be given to the customer and, if applicable, then PUCO. These status reports will be given every 3 business days until the investigation is complete, unless the action that must be taken takes longer than 3 business days and the customer has been notified. So again, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we have resolutions on any issues prior to Public Utilities Commission of Ohio involvement. Moving within the village. So new accounts within the village that folks get a new account are able to sign up for the program. So if you move within the village from one location to another within the corporate limits of the village and you keep the same account number, you'll stay on the program. If you get a new account number, you would then need to opt back into the program because it would be a fresh account. So we're happy to do that for you if that happens. Aggregation participants who move out of the village then would no longer be available to take advantage of the aggregation program. So let's see here. What else? Participants who move and receive a new account number may be dropped, and then you can opt back into it. Moving outside of the village. If you move outside the village, you wouldn't be able to participate. Enrolling after the opt-out period. So residential and small business accounts located within the village's corporate limits that are eligible to join the aggregation may opt out and then opt back into the program, as we spoke about a little bit ago. And we're going to try and keep the rates the same. So if the rate, say, is a 2-year fixed price contract and you opt out and you want to opt back in later, we're going to try and have the same rate available as everyone else within the program. If the market were to move drastically higher, the rate might not be available. So we'll do everything we can to keep the rates the same. We want everybody to be on the same offer. However, if the market were to go way up, we'd have to take that into account with the supplier in the village. I'm almost done here. So let's see here. So you have the opportunity to opt into the program at any time. You can opt in at the current price, or you can wait until the next term. We would then refresh aggregation and new enrollments. We do a refresh probably about once a year, where we would just send out. We do what we call a sweep. So we would go through, get new data from the utility, and then we do a sweep and just try and find new customers that could take advantage of the program. So we do that like once a year as part of the program. The supplier would be sending that out, and then those folks would get a new batch of opt-out letters. So we do an annual sweep. Folks are already included in the program, right? Some folks are on customer choice. Some folks are PIP customers, right? So this would just be for the folks that are on the standard service offer. And then once a year, we would do the sweep. So if folks went back to the utility or their new accounts, they could then be into the program as well.
I'm just curious, What format would that be? Would that be through the postal, like regular mail? Would it be through electronic communication? Would it be through phone contact? What's
So
your
it'd be a
approach?
mail opt-out.
Okay.
Again, so it'd be the
Just like-
same process as
right,
before.
right.
It's just done once a year to be able to offer the village's program and the rate to folks that are just on the standard service offer through the utility. So it just allows more folks to take advantage of the program. Yeah, for sure. So that is pretty much it. Do you guys have questions at all, Jeremy and Steve, for me while I'm here at all?
I have some sent in.
Okay.
Do you, Steve?
Great.
Okay. All right. So a couple here. I think we got a sense of these in your presentation, but I'm just double checking because people have sent them in.
Great.
So the first one is if people can opt out once and be done, or if they have to opt out every year. And I believe you said, but I mean, if you go ahead and address that specifically.
Yeah. So once they opt out of the program, I believe they will be off of the mailing list. So I think once they opt out of the program, they don't have to opt out again for sure during that initial term. Another term once the initial agreement is up then, and if they're just back to the utility, would they get another opt-out letter? I'll double check on that again. I don't believe they would, but I will double check on that with suppliers and get an answer back to you all. But during the initial term, for sure, say we do a 2 or a 3 year agreement, they wouldn't get hit with those annual letters at all. When we do the sweep, they would not get that. So at least for the initial term, they would not be notified again.
Cool. Thanks, Jay.
Yep.
Another question is, do you do even billing?
Even billing?
Mhm.
Is that like a budget plan?
Yeah, I know for in our house, it's so that you avoid the fluctuations of, like, in the wintertime, we've got a gas-fired boiler, it's going to be more expensive. So we pay what they predict as an average amount for the year, and they tweak and adjust it if they have to at the end.
Yes. So I believe each utility in the state of Ohio now offers budget billing for aggregation customers.
Okay.
So I believe that, yes, you will be able to have budget billing unless something has changed. I'm pretty sure you will be able to have an even billing. So you'd have the same charge each month instead of having really high bills in the winter and, the spring, summertime, fall bills being
Right.
significantly lower.
And,
So yes,
and because that's a billing thing, that'd be just straight through Duke, the way you'd normally do it
Correct.
through Duke, et cetera,
Yes.
et cetera.
it'd be the same as you have it set up today with Duke.
Cool, right, okay.
Yep.
And then one question from me that I suspect, the PowerPoint you've just shown, is it possible for us to grab a copy of that and post it up? And I'm only saying that because you can the camera's pretty good, but there's a lot of small text in there,
Sure.
Is it okay to grab that and post it up on the village website?
Yes.
Okay, outstanding. So if anybody's watching and they're saying, I hear and I understand, but I might forget next week, blah, 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 we'll get that up for you so you can review all the details in their glory at any time you'd like to. And
Yep.
we'll get that
Great
posted up
idea.
as soon as we can. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate
Yep,
that.
I like
Yep.
that.
Still no, and I don't have anything new on here.
Okay. Well, always keep in mind, folks, anytime you guys have questions, feel free to reach out directly to me. Anybody that has questions can reach out to myself. You could CC Art on the email if you want, or just reach directly out to me. My email is jsell@aspenenergy.com. Our toll-free number is 614, actually, the regular number is 614-884-5300. I'm an extension 234. So anytime anybody has questions about this program, feel free to reach out to me, or if you'd like to opt out or opt in, I can easily handle that for you as well. Again, you will have the supplier number to call as well. It'll be listed on the bill once we select a supplier. So anytime you want to call them, you can call them direct. If you want to call and talk about anything with us as well, we're here as the village's consultant to assist with any of your questions.
Great. Okay, so at this point, not hearing any other questions, I've got all the ones I've got in here. Do we keep the camera running live and like hang out, or is it okay to stop the live feed, or what's the next?
So yeah, I think we can stop the live feed now. If
Okay.
there's more questions that pop up while we're here
Okay.
during the second meeting, we
Okay.
can answer them. And then, like I said, afterwards, we will answer every single question. So if there's more questions that pop up on the YouTube, we'll answer them. If you have further questions, feel free to email Art, myself, Jeremy, Steve. I'm sure it could help as well, but I'm always happy to answer questions and try and make sure everybody feels good about the program. And if you don't, hey, I'm here to listen as well and try and help with any requests that you have to get off of the program, or anything that we can do for you within reason.
So for people who might be watching, what we attempted to do here was have meetings that would bridge a normal person's day schedule. And we're aware that, people work first shift, people work second shift, et cetera. So this is the first meeting where we were hoping that people could participate, that were available up until 5. 5 is a common time to get off work and whatnot. So we're going to shut this down. We're going to come back at 5:15. Basically do more or less the exact same thing, but give people who might just be getting off work a chance to jump in and therefore cover all the bases. So thank you for watching. See you in a couple minutes.